For 29 seconds, Marc Savard was unconscious on the ice. Medical staff from both teams rushed to his side as he lay motionless. The arena fell completely silent. Even the Pittsburgh fans knew something was terribly wrong. One hit, one moment, one career destroyed. But here's what makes this story absolutely terrifying. The hit was completely legal. Matt Cooke walked away without even a penalty. The NHL reviewed the play and announced he did nothing wrong. According to the official rulebook, destroying Marc Savard's career was perfectly acceptable. How is that possible? How do you legally end someone's career in front of 20,000 people and millions watching at home? What happened when the victim tried to get justice? And why did the NHL create a rule specifically because of this hit, but refuse to punish the man who threw it? Because this isn't just a story of a hockey hit gone wrong. This is a story of how a legal hit exposed the NHL's darkest secret. How a 29-second knockout revealed a system designed to protect predators, not players. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the most dangerous hits in hockey weren't illegal, they were perfectly legal. To understand how this was possible, you need to know who Marc Savard was. All-star center, offensive genius, the creative heart of the Boston Bruins. Savard was the kind of player fans paid to watch. Electric, fearless, with hands that could thread a pass through impossible spaces. He was having the best season of his career, leading the Bruins charge toward what they hoped would be a Stanley Cup. March 7th, 2010. Third period at Pittsburgh's Mellon Arena, Bruins down 2-1. The play developed like thousands before it. Savard entered the offensive zone, took a shot from above the circles and followed through, completely focused on the puck, completely unaware of what was coming. Matt Cooke approached from the blind side, shoulder to head, direct contact, devastating force. Savard crumpled to the ice like he'd been shot. The sound echoed through the arena, not just a hit, but the silence that followed. Even Penguins fans knew something was catastrophically wrong. For what felt like an eternity, he didn't move. When the stretcher came out, Savard managed to raise one hand, a gesture to his children watching at home that he was okay. He wasn't okay. He would never be okay again. And here's the part that should make your blood boil. No penalty was called because according to the NHL rulebook in 2010, what Matt Cooke just did was perfectly legal. The question isn't why Cooke threw the hit. The question is how the NHL made it legal for him to destroy someone's life. This wasn't Matt Cooke's first time hunting. In the 2 years before destroying Savard's career, Cooke had already been suspended twice for hits to the head. He was a repeat offender who had perfected the art of hurting people within the rules. The NHL had taught him exactly how to get away with it. Cooke didn't charge. That would be a penalty. He didn't leave his feet. That would be charging. He didn't use his elbow. That would be elbowing. He used his shoulder, approached from the blind side, and targeted the head of a defenseless player. And in 2010, that combination was completely legal. It was a loophole in the rulebook, and Cooke had turned exploiting it into a science. But here's where it gets absolutely insane. Everyone expected a massive suspension. The hit was replayed endlessly on television. Analysts called it a textbook blindside hit to the head. Even some of Cooke's own teammates said they expected him to be suspended. Instead, Colin Campbell, the NHL's head of discipline, announced no punishment whatsoever. His reasoning? I can't suspend Matt Cooke for being a repeat offender. I have to find a reason. The league claimed their hands were tied by their own rules. But years later, leaked emails revealed the real truth behind this decision. And it's far more disgusting than you could imagine. In private communications, Campbell called Savard that little fake artist and the biggest faker going. He blamed Savard for not keeping his head up during a blindside hit, literally victim blaming a player who had just suffered a career-ending brain injury. Campbell wrote that someone should teach that young man something about keeping his head up, as if Savard was supposed to have eyes in the back of his head. Most damning of all, Campbell's emails show he knew exactly what criteria would warrant a suspension: a hit that was late, unsuspecting, and targeted the head. Then he falsely claimed that none of the above applied to Cooke's hit on Savard. This wasn't an impartial application of the rules. This was a rigged system where the head of player safety had already decided he didn't like the victim. Marc Savard's career was ended by a legal hit, but the decision not to punish it was pure corruption. Then they did something nobody saw coming. While the NHL protected Matt Cooke, Marc Savard descended into hell. For 2 months after the hit, Savard lived like a zombie, crushing headaches that no medication could touch, sensitivity to light so severe he had to live in darkness, exhaustion so complete that sleeping for 12 hours left him more tired than when he went to bed. But the physical symptoms were just the beginning. Savard battled depression so deep he couldn't be around his own family, anxiety attacks that came without warning, rage that exploded over nothing. The creative, joyful player who had been the heart of the Bruins was gone, replaced by someone he didn't recognize. In his own words, he was living in really dark days, trapped by an invisible injury that no one could see but was destroying everything he was. Against all medical advice, Savard attempted a comeback for the playoffs. In a moment that should have been pure triumph, he scored the game-winning goal in overtime against Philadelphia. The arena erupted. For one shining moment, it looked like he had beaten the injury. But Savard later admitted he was running on fumes, pushing through symptoms that would have hospitalized most people. He wasn't healed. He was barely surviving. And then came January 23rd, 2011. A routine hit along the boards in Colorado. Nothing violent, nothing malicious. Just an ordinary hockey play that happens 100 times every game. But for Savard's already traumatized brain, it was catastrophic. His vision went completely black. He knew instantly, with terrifying certainty, that his career was over. Here's the cruel medical reality. That second hit didn't end Marc Savard's career. Matt Cooke's hit did. A brain that has suffered one severe concussion becomes exponentially more vulnerable to future trauma. The threshold for re-injury drops dramatically. Without Cooke's blindside hit, that routine play in Colorado would have been meaningless. But because of the damage already done, Savard's brain couldn't take even minor contact. The routine hit only ended his career because Cooke had already destroyed the foundation. Matt Cooke didn't just hurt Marc Savard, he made him defenseless against every future hit for the rest of his life. 17 days after destroying Marc Savard's career, the NHL created a new rule, Rule 48, illegal check to the head. It banned exactly what Matt Cooke had done to Savard. Blindside hits targeting the head were now explicitly illegal. The rule became universally known as the Matt Cooke rule. But here's the part that should enrage you. The hit that ended Savard's career was legal on March 7th, but it became illegal on March 24th. Matt Cooke faced no punishment for an act that NHL admitted was so dangerous they banned it forever. Meanwhile, Savard's brain was permanently damaged by something that became a crime after it happened to him. This exposed the NHL's fundamental flaw. They were always reactive, never proactive. Player safety only mattered after careers were destroyed on live television. The victims got nothing but sympathy and rule changes that came too late, and this is a part that should terrify other sports leagues. The Matt Cooke rule didn't just change hockey, it revealed how professional sports really work. Progress only happens when the public relations nightmare becomes too big to ignore. How many Marc Savards does it take to change a rule? Apparently, just one, but only if it happens in front of millions of witnesses. Today, Marc Savard still battles daily headaches and depression. He donated his brain to science to help future players understand the long-term effects of brain trauma. His name is on the Stanley Cup, but he was too sick from his symptoms to celebrate with his teammates when they won it. Matt Cooke played for several more years after ending Savard's career. He eventually apologized, sort of, but he still insists the hit was legally within the game, which terrifyingly was true. The NHL didn't change because they cared about player safety. They changed because a star player's career was ended on live television, and the public relations nightmare forced their hand. Remember those 29 seconds when Marc Savard lay unconscious? That wasn't just a hockey player recovering from a hit. That was the exact moment that NHL's darkest secret was exposed for the world to see. The legal hit that ended everything wasn't the problem. The problem was that it was legal at all, and that's a truth the NHL can never take back. If you guys enjoyed this video, you might like this patch-ready video. Leave a like, subscribe, and enjoy the rest of your day.